Hi there, welcome to the channel. In this video, we will understand celery concept in Django. Also, we will understand Celery Beat in Django framework. So we will follow this post. I will put link into my description panel. So if you are not able to follow this video, then definitely you can check this post later. So let's get started. So let me give you the agenda what we'll do in this video. So we will understand first some theory portion like what is celery beat, and why we need celery beat, and where we'll store the result. So what is celery worker, what is broker, okay, till this line. Then we will start configuration for our projects, for celery and celery beat as well. Then at the end we will create one simple projects for celery and celery beat. So that project will be to send the mails to the particular user, and also we'll use celery beat to send the mails at a particular interval. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the first thing, that what is celery. So Celery is a distributed task queue for executing work outside the Python web application request and response cycle. So let me give you the idea from this diagram. So what is Celery actually? So Celery is the concept in Django which by which we can perform task in a background. uh, like if we have to perform some task which is taking too much load on Django framework, then that task we can assign to the Celery. Celery can perform that task, and what Django can do is Django can send the immediate response to the user that your task is in progress or it is performed. So that we supposed to do. That's why we use Celery into Django framework. So let me give you the idea from this diagram. So suppose let me type some URL. Let's say I am having some endpoint. Let's say localhost // mail. Okay, so this is the endpoint suppose I'm having, and after uh, triggering this endpoint, suppose we are supposed to send some mail to the users. Let's say we are having some form here and one click button here or send button here. If we are clicking on this click or send button, then what our application is doing is it is sending the mails to the thousand, or I can say millions of user. So suppose it is taking 5 to 10 minutes to send the our Django application is taking 5 to 10 minutes to send the mails to the user. So at that time, like it is not feasible uh, to for the client to wait for that time, right? So Django is uh, uh, not preferable for that kind of thing, because Django is good for user experience. Means Django needs to provide the good user experience. So what Django can do, Django can assign those tasks to the Celery worker, or I can say Celery can perform that task in a background, and in meantime Django can respond to the user with immediate response. Let's say your mails are in, we are sending you mails or something, or when we complete our task, or when Celery is completing that sending mail task, then we can also update the user that your mails are has been sent. Okay, so that we can do by using Celery. So let's understand this diagram. So this is the client. If suppose client is requesting something to the Django application, so Django application assign some task to this to the Celery. So to assigning those tasks to the specific worker, we need some kind of medium in between. So at that point, we use broker, means task queue, into Celery. So what that task queue or broker will do is that broker will assign specific task to the worker. Suppose we have 10 tasks. Okay, so that first task will assign to this worker, then second task will get assigned to the second worker. So that will depend like how many tasks we have. And suppose we want to send those tasks on some particular time or on particular interval, then we can have the concept called celery beat. So this is useful when we need to perform some scheduling task or some interval task we need to perform. Then at that time we use celery beat. Okay, so celery beat is a concept which we use while using periodic task into celery uh, into Django application. So at that point, like if you want to store our task related information, so at that point we use some result database, where we in this video will use Django database, but also we can use Redis and another database to store the information. In this video we'll use Redis as a broker also, and we'll not use Redis as a backend, but we'll use Django database, so we can see the task related information into our Django admin panel. Okay, so this is the scenario what we'll do in this video. I hope you understood. Let me revise. So like we use broker, we'll use Redis broker to work as a task queue, or to work as a broker. Then we will use Django database to store the task related information, and we'll use Celery Beat as well to perform some Celery Beat or I can say task scheduler task. Okay, so let's go into our theory lines. So yeah, the task queue input is a unit of work called task. Okay, so the task queues, uh, first unit is called a task. So that particular task will assign to this particular worker. Okay, dedicated worker processes constantly monitor task queue for the new work to perform. So as I mentioned, right? So now Celery is written in Python, but protocol can be implemented in any language. So Celery is written in Python, but we can use Celery in a different language. Like for Node.js, we have Node Celery. For PHP client, we have Node Celery TS. So this is the thing, we can perform. We can use Celery in a different languages, but that is written in specifically in Python. So we need to know that, right? Now we'll see why we need to use Celery. So I think uh, like there are lots of reasons why we need to use Celery. So Celery is a concept when we suppose we are calling some third party APIs and that are responding in some time. Let's say they are taking some lots of time to respond. Then at that point we can use Celery. Like if we want to perform some specific task, or I can say schedule task, then at that point also we can use Celery bit concept. And also as I mentioned, like suppose we are using some Django application and we are requesting some, or I can say client requesting for some page, but if client wants some immediate response, at that point we can use Celery. So Django application can send direct response to the user, and other tasks we can assign to the Celery to perform in background. And then high CPU intensive task. So suppose we are using some machine learning algorithm which is taking too much load, okay, to perform. It is taking too much time. At that point also we can use Celery. So this is the four reasons why we need to use Celery. Now we in mind in our mind, like we can have some one question, like why we are using Celery if we have multi-threading concept in Python, async concept in Python, multi-processing concept, then why we are using that, right? So the thing is, we don't need to give much overload to the Django framework. That's why we are using Celery, because we don't want our Django framework to get high load, right? We can assign those tasks to Celery, and Celery can perform those tasks into the background. So we don't need to give much overload to the Django, because Django is morely useful for good user experience, right? So if Django will take time to give a response to the user, then that is not the preferable way to use Django framework, right? So that's why we can use Celery concept into Django framework. And Celery, as I mentioned, like Celery requires message transport to send and receive messages. So at that point, we are using Redis into this video, but also we can use Redi MQ and Amazon SQS broker to transport to transport those messages from Celery to Django framework. Okay, so this is the thing, and we can also use another database like Redis, MongoDB, and Amazon S3 to storing the information. But in this video, we are using Django database. So we will see in this video that how our task related information are getting stored into our Django database. Okay. So now let's go to this, which is Redis. So as I mentioned that we can store Redis, we can store data into Redis as well, and also Redis can be useful as a broker. So as a broker, we can transport the messages, but at a higher system, we I prefer that we don't need to use Redis. But if we have some small messages to transport, that at that point we can prefer Redis. But if we have some large messages, so at that point we can choose uh, another broker like Redi MQ or Amazon SQS, and also like to store the information, we can use Redis as a backend as well. Okay, so as I mentioned that we can store the task related information into Redis. So now, for transferring message from Django and Celery, we need some proper structure for data to be transformed. So Celery provides different types of serialization like pickle, JSON, message pay. So if you want to transform some data to Django application to Celery, then we need some kind of format to in between that, right? Specific format. So Celery also provide that kind of format. So pickle is the format, JSON is the format. This is different types of serialization which Celery provides. So we will also configure JSON serializer into this video. So this is not a rocket science. We will just add some lines of code, and that will be automatic. That configuration will be automatically done. Okay, so don't worry about that how we will configure that thing, like how we'll perform serialization and all. Don't worry, this will be done by only adding 1 to 2 line, and that will get done. Okay, so now let's go ahead, and let's see. I think we have seen that. So salary workers are the worker processes that runs independently from one another and outside the context of the main service. So yes, as I mentioned that salary workers are one kind of processes which is running independently outside our main process. So into our main program, this will not impact. This is working outside our main program. And Celery Beat is a scheduler. So if you want to perform some scheduling tasks, periodic tasks, at that point we'll use Celery Beat. Okay, so salary workers are the backbone of the Celery. So if you want to perform recurring task, so we can use Celery Beat. Uh, so this is the thing which this line is saying. So I think you understood this theory portion. If you don't understanding this, then definitely you can pause this video and you can go back to the starting of this video, and you can understand each words what I said. If you did, then I'll you can move from this. So what we'll do now, will from here we'll configure salary into our system. So before that we need to uh, have some good understanding like what I've said into this theory portion. So please do that, then go to this thing. So now we'll start with the configuration. So before that, so let's go uh, into command prompt, and type Python. If you don't have Python installed in your PC, then you can go to python.org website and you can download the Python. So as you can see that uh, in this PC I'm using Python 3.7. Okay, so while I was creating the video, I was I was using 3.11, but in my current PC I'm having 3.7 Python installed. Now what we'll do, uh, now let's go and let me go into my folder. So I'm having this folder celery tut. So in this I will work. So now what I'll do, I will create a virtual environment into this. So now let's go and I'll open CMD here, and I will create a virtual environment. So let me do that. So I'll say virtual environment. If you don't have virtual environment in your PC, then you can just say pip install virtual env, and environment will get installed virtual env. Then you can create virtual environment. So I have already that. So now I'll pass this command virtual env and we'll give the name as venv. So now in the next step, after this task will done, now in next step we'll install Django into our virtual environment. So before that we need to activate that virtual environment. As you can see, we have our virtual environment got created. So now we will work in this virtual environment. So before that we need to activate that virtual environment. So we'll pass this command. So as you can see, we are in our virtual environment. So now we will uh, we will install Django into our virtual environment. So let me first say Python. Uh, yeah. So we are working. As you can see, we are working in Python 3.10. So I have different versions, Python versions. So that's why at this point we are working in Python 3.10. Okay. So now uh, now I'll install Django into this. So let's say pip install Django. So Django will get installed into this piece into this virtual environment. Then meanwhile, now what we'll do, we'll create our project onto our folder. So we need to pass this command. Okay. So let's wait till Django is getting installed. So now our Django got installed successfully. So now what we'll do, like we can create our project. So I will create a project named Celery project. So in this, we need to paste this command, Django admin start project Celery project. So now our Django project will get created. As you can see here, we are having our project. So now we can open that project into any editor. So I'll use VS Code. So uh, I will I will open my VS Code here, and I will start my terminal here. So we'll start all our terminal here. So later we don't need to worry about that. So now I will choose CMD here, and in that we will first start our virtual environment. So VNV scripts activate. So as you can see, we are in our virtual environment. Now we will go into our Celery project Celery project. So we are in our Celery project. So now what we'll do, we will install Celery. So uh, type pip install Celery, pip install Celery. So now as you can see, Celery is getting installed into our virtual environment. And then what we'll do, we will create a project application. So we need to type this command, Django admin start app Celery app. So Celery is about to complete installing. So as you can see now it got installed. Now what we'll do, we will create one application called Celery app into our Celery project. Okay, so as you can see, we are in our project. There is there will create a application called Celery app. So as you can see, our app got created. Now what we'll do, now we need to do some configuration into our settings.py file. So we will do this configuration. So before, we need to install Redis into our system. So we need to go in this link. I will provide you the link, or you can just type GitHub Redis. Okay, and you will, I will provide you the link into the description. So in that, you need to go into this first link. Yes, first MSI link. And yeah, now after clicking on that link, you will have some kind of installer to install. After following the steps, then your Redis will get installed in your PC. To check Redis install in your PC or not, so you need to go into C drive of, like, C drive program files location. So I'll go into that. So C drive, then program files, and here we'll have Redis option. So Redis, and then click on Redis CLI. Okay, so if you by default Redis port is 6379. If you will type ping here, then you will get pong. So this is suggesting us that Redis got successfully installed in our PC. So don't worry about that. Okay, so now now let's go into the actual folder. So now let's continue to the process. So now in settings.py file, we need to add some configuration regarding broker, regarding as I mentioned, that we need to pass some serializer related information. So we'll add these 4 lines into our settings.py file. So I have those lines. So I will copy those lines and I'll just paste that line to settings.py file. Okay, so now I will go back and I will go below and I'll add those settings. So this setting is for Celery, right? So settings for Celery. Okay, so so this is the broker URL which we have mentioned. So type this, then the accept content. So we are using JSON accept content, and then as a result, Celery result serializer, we are using JSON format, and also task serializer we are using JSON format. So you need to mention this 4 lines. Okay, then now what we'll do, we'll add some lines of code into our celery.py file which we'll create. So this code also you can get from the official documentation, but you can also copy and paste from here as well. So I will create one celery.py file into my project folder. So celery.py file into my project folder. So this is my project. Now in this I will create celery.py file. Okay, so now in that file, what I'll do, I'll paste this code. So if you are giving some different name to the project, then you need to change some things here. So you need to change the project name, and this is the Celery application name, so you can give anything. I have given Celery project as of now, and the namespace you can give anything. I have given the uh, Celery as a namespace. So this code is also you can get, as I mentioned, from the official documentation. So for saving our time, I have just copied and pasted that code. And as you can see, we are not using the default time settings. We are using Asia Kolkata Indian time zone settings. So that's why we have added enable UTC configuration to false. Okay. So this is the thing which you need to add, and let's go to the slide, go to the article. So now what we'll do, we'll create our task into task.py file into our Celery application. So we have to create task.py file into our application. So we have created our application. Go to the application. We haven't configured the URLs settings, right? So we will configure that, don't worry. So we also need to create urls.py into this, right? So into task.py file, we will add this code. So let's say we are adding one task, which we are adding one function. So you can assign task into this uh, into this function. Okay, we'll do that, don't worry, but just as of now, just type this. So at the end, we will get to know that we are in this function, because we'll use this task function uh, in this configuration thing. So don't worry, you will learn in this video later. So now what we'll do, we have to configure the views and URLs. So into our project URLs file, we need to include our application, right? I think if you are learning this concept, then you might know that we need to do this process. So I have just copied and pasted, and as you can see, we are including the Celery app. So now we'll go into our urls.py of our application, and now we will add this lines of code for our main app URL, right? We are using Celery app, so we'll use Celery app. Okay, note that we are using Celery app, not main app. Okay, so now this is fine. This is looking fine. Now into our views.py file, we need to add some configuration, or we need to add one function. Okay, so now we have created our first view and first view, right? So this is our first endpoint, means localhost. When we will type localhost 8000, this view will get called, right? Into that view, we have added one, like we'll get immediate response, this HTTP response that done. But in between, as you can see, we have added one thing which is fun.delay. So fun is coming from our task.py file function, and we are accessing delay method. So what this will do, that uh, this is saying that we are using Celery in background. So now this will trigger that this function, and that when that function will get completed, then we'll get this return into our uh, celery uh, celery terminal. Okay, celery related terminal. So now let's go ahead. So now we'll just start our server. So we need to install the Redis as well. So let's see Redis is installed or not. So now now let's open the terminal. So now in this terminal, we will say pip install Redis, and Redis will get installed into our PC. And then we'll start our server, python manage.py run server. Okay. So now, as you can see, our server got started. Now we'll say localhost 8000. So let's see what is happening. For this, let's go to below and we need to uh, add this line to our init.py file of our project. So we are importing .celery as a app, celery app, and then we are adding this. Then also we need to add the uh, celery app project into our celery app application into our install app. And so now go into settings.py file, and here into install app we'll add our application. And to use the Django database in a backend, we will use this. We need to add this line. So I will add this line. Before that, so I'll add that line here. And let's say for database, okay, for storing result, let's write this. Okay, and then before that, we need to install a django-celery result. So go to the break the server for now, and let's add pip install django-celery result. So now it is installed. So yeah, I think we are good. Now we can run our server, and also we can start our celery worker as well. So now let's run our server. So let's say pip install, sorry, python manage.py run server, and now server run successfully. Now I'll create one another. I will go into another command prompt, and I will go into my project. Let's say celery project. Okay. Okay. So now I will pass this command. So don't worry. I will tell you exactly like what is we are writing, like what is this pool and why we are using solo here. Okay. Don't worry. So just pass this command as of now. So this is, let's say, celery, and then -a project name dot celery worker minus minus pool, uh, then is equal to solo, and minus l info. So let's press enter, and as you can see we are getting something that uh, so we forgot to add the Django uh, backend results. So uh, we need to add that. So copy this django-celery results, go to settings.py file, install app list, and here we will add that. And so now let me retry the command. Make sure you have a good internet connection. So let me retry, and as you can see, it is connecting with Redis server. Okay, and now let's go into localhost 8000. As you can see, it is giving us done. So it is working, and now it will perform that fun function related task here. So we are getting that no such table, so we need to do some migrations as well. uh, so we will do migrations for that. Okay, so let me do that. So let's say python manage.py, not here, into this. So this is working, right? So now to perform that, let's do migration. So I say python manage.py make migration. I think we haven't created any models, manual models now, so it will be no detected, right? So now we need to do migrate. So all models will get migrated. Now we'll run the server, and now we'll again pass that uh, command, celery worker command. So now it will run. So as you can see, it is connecting with the Redis, and now Let's refresh this localhost 8000. So it is giving us done. Okay, so now as you can see, our salary has performed that task, as you can see, and now we are getting done in a salary terminal. So now it is working. Celery has performed the task in that task.py file fun function, and it has returned done here. So now it is working. So now let's go ahead and now we will install Celery Beat. So let me go into my uh, let me quit the server and I'll say pip install django-celery beat. So now it got installed. So now we need to add that also into our installed apps. So I'll go into my settings file and I will go into installed apps and I'll add that. So here I will add that Django Celery Beat. Okay, so now and also we need to add this line for the Celery Beat scheduler related thing. So now we'll go, also we can, if you don't want to add this line into our settings.py file, then while triggering the Celery Beat command, we need to add that into that particular command. So we'll do this way. So now I'll go into my settings.py file. Where is our settings.py file? Here we are in that only. So now I will add this, so Celery Beat scheduler line, and then we can start our Celery Beat. So now what we'll do in celery.py file, we will add one settings. So we'll go in celery.py file, and here we will add this. So this is for setting the Celery Beat scheduler task. Here we will add, later in this video we'll add task here. Okay, so now we haven't added any task because we are not performing any periodic task, but later we'll do that. So now we'll start our Celery Beat server. Okay, so with this command we'll start Celery Beat. So now let's go and create another terminal. So I'll create one another terminal, and then I will go into my project, Celery project, and then I will uh, paste that command. So Celery -a, and as you can see it is starting, and we need to also do some migrations. So let's go there and do migrations. So python manage.py migrate. So as you can see, it is migrating our model to the database. Now let's run our server again, and our server is running. So now we will again trigger that celery beat command into our terminal. So as you can see, it is starting, bit is starting. So now it is working. Okay, so this is fine, and I think we got done, but we haven't added any tasks. So this is working as of now, right? So now what we'll do now, uh, now we'll learn some concept, like when we are working with the large scale application, then how we can add or remove something, and we can perform some operations, like to increase the size of pool, and how we can set the minimum size of the pool, how we can set the maximum size of the pool. So this we will see. So if you don't want to go in deep concept, then you can just directly go into the exercise part of this video. But this will definitely be helpful for you. So please stay tuned. So now what is so a salary system can consist of multiple workers and brokers. As I mentioned that in Celery we are working with multiple workers and also brokers. Okay, So by default, Celery uses the multi-processing concept. So currently, like we are triggering one command. So what is the command? So let's say this is the command, right? Let me show you from here. So celery minus a celery project, and we are performing pool is equal to solo. Okay, so by default it is considering the multiprocessing concept of Python. Okay, so it is saying this, but if you want to change the thing, then uh, if you want to use the multi-threading concept, then we can specify some configuration into the command, and instead of processes, we can use threads as well. So let's go, and when you start a celery worker on the command line, you just start a supervisor class. So the celery worker that does not process task. Okay, so it spawns the child processes for your threads and deals like storing and managing data. So what it is saying that, let me go open the paint here. So what it is saying that like this is our celery worker, suppose. Okay, and now when we are starting a celery worker, so by default, like it is not processing those tasks. Okay, but what it will do, it will assign those tasks to the child processes. So uh, suppose we are having 4 CPU core into our PC. So the size of this execution pool will be 4. So 4 tasks can perform in this one uh, child processes, which will get spawned by this worker. So this is our worker, and if we have suppose 10 tasks to perform, then if we have 4 CPU core into our PC, then suppose this will take 4, this execution will get take 4, and then this will take 4. So now we have 2 remaining. So another will be in third execution pool. Okay, so in this way, celery worker will assign the task to the child processes. So here it will be 4. Okay, so 4 child processes will get spawned. Here also 4. Okay, sorry for this bad painting. And here there will be 2 child processes will get spawned by the celery worker. So this work by default will not get done by the celery worker. Okay, it will spawn the child processes. So now suppose like we don't want the celery worker to spawn the child processes, but we want celery worker to perform those tasks, because suppose we are not having much tasks to do, right? So we can celery worker also can perform those tasks. So at that time we can set some configuration, like if we are assigning pool is equal to solo, as we have assigned in this video, then what it will do, celery worker will not spawn any child processes. Means this will not be in this scenario. So celery worker itself will process those tasks, and yeah, that is the thing. And if we want to use threading, means threads into this, instead of this is processes, right? So if you want to use threads, then we can just assign pool is equal to threads here, and now it will trigger the threads instead of this processes. Okay, so it will not spawn any processes here, it will trigger threads, so it will use threads into that. So this is the thing. We also have some g event and eventlet pools things into this. Like we can also add pool is equal to g event and also eventlet pools. So I'll put some links to into my description panel. You can also check this thing like g event and event pool. Okay, so now let's see what is this concurrency. So concurrency decide the size of the execution pool. So this is the size of the execution pool. If we want like 5 size of this execution, not by default by the CPU core, if we want 5 as a execution pool size, then we can also set that with this. Like we will pass concurrency is equal to 5. So five tasks or 5 child processes will get spawned by this worker. Okay, so the size of this execution pool will be 5. So 5 5, so in only two execution pool it will get completed. So this is the thing. And suppose like we are having sometimes, like we are working in a large scale application, so sometimes we have some high amount of load, sometimes we have some low amount of load, right? So we can also set that like uh, dynamically we can resize the pool size based on the load. So this auto scale property is doing that. So it will, the Autoscale adds more pool processes when there is a more work to do, start removing processes when workload is low. So what this will do, when we have some large amount of load, then this will automatically done by this thing. So it will add more processes, and when we'll have low workload, then it will take those processes from that. Okay, so if we can also give the size, like as you can see 10 is the maximum size we can pass, means we are passing 10. If we want to pass more, then we can do, but here we are passing 10 maximum size and 3 minimum size for this. So it will, when the load will low, then it will only start three processes, and when load will be high, then it will spawn this 10 processes. So this is the thing we can do dynamically, resize the size of the our execution pool. So that is the concept. I hope you understood what is worker pool concurrency concept in Django Celery. So now we'll go ahead and we'll jump into our exercise part. So now we'll do this exercise that we'll send the mails to the users of our Django application. So the idea is to send emails to the user, all the users of our application, Django application. Okay. So first we'll try to create a new application into our project. So let's go and create a new application. So I will stop my server here, and I will say Django admin start app, and I will use a Mailfire app. Okay, Mailfire app. Right. So now I'll create another application. So as you can see, our application got created. So now we need to register that application as well. So now in settings.py file, we'll register that. So here we need to register that app as well. So Mailfire app. Okay. Now it is fine. Mailfire app. Okay. Now we'll create a task.py file into our Mailfire application. So we can have multiple task.py file into multiple application. So we'll create one file. Let's say task.py. Okay. So in this we will add this code. So I will explain you the code. Don't worry. So this we are pasting here. So as you can see, we are importing the Django user model, and then we are importing Celery, shared task from Celery, and also we are importing sendMail function from django.core.mail module. Then we are importing settings like our project settings. Okay, and here we have created one task send mail function. Okay, so this will be triggered by our Celery worker. So now what we will do, what we are doing is we are just taking all the users, and for all the users we are getting the mail here, and we are sending the mail to the particular all the users. Okay, so we are taking the message mail subject as a hello Celery. Okay, and the message as a this. Okay, so I'll give subscribe to the used YouTube channel, subscribe subscribe my the code space YouTube channel. Okay, so this is the thing. Now we need to add some parameters to this send mail function. So I have added subject is equal to mail subject, message is equal to message what we want to send. From email means from which mail we want to send the mail. So we need to configure this email host into our settings.py file. We haven't configured yet, but later we'll do. Then we need to assign the to email to we need to send the mail. So we need to add the recipient list as well. And suppose we are suppose at some point to some user it is the mail is not getting sent, so this will not affect all the things, uh, all the processes. Okay, so this is saying fail silently is equal to true, that will not, the one failure will not affect all the processes. Okay, so this is the fail silent is equal to true we are mentioning. And when this task will get completed, we need to return this, so this will get returned into our Celery console. Okay, so now we need to configure this task. Okay, so now before that we need to configure the SMTP this settings. So I'll copy and paste this. Okay, and I will go into my settings.py file, and I will add here, let's say here I'm adding, let me write email SMTP settings. Okay, and here we need to add from which user we want to send the mail. So I will say I will assign my uh, email ID, which is rajfarma@gmail.com, and then we need to send the uh, add the password here. So as of now I will generate one password for my this email. So for that we need to go into my accounts.google.com. Okay, please make sure you are not sharing your password with anyone. Okay, so here you need to go into this security tab, and then you need to go here and click on this app passwords. So we need to create one application here. So I need to pass my password. Okay, so now we need to create an application. So I will select app as a mail, and I will select device. So I'll select just Windows computer, and I'll generate one application. So now we can use this password for our Gmail ID. Okay, don't share this password with anyone. So I will paste that password here. Okay, and yeah, this default from where we are passing this. So now configuration are done. Now let's go into our views.py, and now we will trigger that send mail function. Okay, so now we'll copy this, and now we'll go into our, let's close all the tabs as of now, and now we will go Celery views. Where is views? Okay, so we'll go into this Celery app which we have created earlier application, and in this we will import this send mail function. So we need to import that, so we'll import that as well here. And as you can see, we have imported that send mail function here, and we are just using that. We'll use that function, and now we need to create a URL for this. Okay, so we will create URL. So this is the URL. Okay, so now in urls.py file we need to add this URL. So we need to import this. So I will import this send mail to users view. So this is working fine, I think. Now we can restart our Celery worker, and we can start our server as well. Okay, so now what we can do, all all things are working fine. Now let's restart our server, and now let's restart our Celery worker. So now re-trigger the command. Okay, so as you can see, it is calling this send mail function as well. And now it is connecting with the Redis server. So now we need to go into that particular endpoint. So let's say let's close this and localhost, and we need to go into that particular endpoint which is send mail. So send mail, and now it is, as you can see, we are getting immediate response that email has been sent. Okay, so email has been sent to the user. So now it is saying task successful. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let's go and check the emails if we are getting email or not. So now we will not get any email. Please pause the video and put the answer that why we will not get any email. So yeah, just pause the video. Okay, so I think uh, you got that why we are not get why we will not get any email, right? Because we haven't configured any user into this application, right? So first what we need to do, we need to create a super user, or we can, yeah, so we will create a super user, create create super user, and then now we'll pass the username, and also please add the perfect email id, gmail id in which you want to send the mail. So I will pass my another email id which is raj parmaraj 1133 at gmail.com. Okay, now you can add the password. So this is the password, and now click on yes, and now let's reload, refresh our server, and now it is running fine. Now uh, again close this, and now let's uh, retrigger this command. So I will retrigger the command. So I'll retrigger the command, and as you can see it is working. Now let me reload this page as well. So as you can see, we are getting email has been sent successfully, and it is working. And when it will send the mail, then we will get uh, output in this console. So as you can see, Celery has sent the Celery has triggered that function, send mail function, and now task is successful, which we are getting, right? So let's go into our views. So in our views, as we have mentioned in this send mail function, okay, that where is send mail function? Okay, so in mail file app we have uh, configured that when this task will get completed, we want this as a response. So we are getting this response. So now I think Salary has already sent the mail. So let's go into my Gmails, and now let's check the mail. So now let me check my mails. So this is not the mail. Which mail? Okay, this is the account in which we'll get the mail, right? So as you can see, we are getting hello Celery in this. So this thing I have tried earlier, but now as you can see at right sharp 11 and 39, we are getting this message from our Celery. Okay, from our Django application. So I think that this is fine, right? We are getting the mails. So this is working fine as of now. Now what we'll do, we'll use the concept called Django-celery beat. So we will perform periodic tasks. Mean, suppose we want, like we want Celery to send the mail at suppose 11 and 45. Then we can also do that. We can create a task, and then Celery beat will we will create a task in Celery beat, and at a sharp those times Celery beat assign the task to the Celery worker, and then Celery worker will perform those tasks. Okay, so now uh, earlier, like let's go into the settings dot sorry, celery.py file into our project. So earlier we haven't configured anything here, but now we will add some tasks. Okay, so let's copy this, and I will paste this here. So uh, as you can see that we want to send the mail as 11 and 45. So 11 45 we can, or I can say just every date 45, let's say. Okay, so now we have added one task here. So now at 11:45, like this is a task name, we haven't configured 11:45, right? Here we need to configure. So I'll say 11 a.m. and 45, okay, minutes. We want that Celery worker can execute this function, this task. Okay, so we need to confirm this into this schedule uh, value. Like we need to add this cron tab, and we need to add the timings. So it is also taking 4 to 5 parameters here, but here we just need this. So we can also add this parameter, like uh, we can also pass this argument, and this argument will get by this send mail function into the task.py file. Okay, so in this we can also get uh, parameters from that, but here we are not doing that. Okay, if you want to do that, then definitely I will provide you some reference link. Okay, so don't worry about that. So currently we are not adding any argument here. So we want at 11:45 uh, we want Celery to send the mail. Okay, so now we will again uh, we, will- we will uh, we will again restart our Celery Beat uh, server. So now we are restarting that, and it is starting. And now as you can see, uh, we are saying database scheduler schedule change. So now at a sharp 11 and 45, our Celery bit assigned the task to the Celery workers, and now at that time our Celery will perform those tasks. Okay, so now let's wait for 11:45. Okay, so now we are just waiting for 11:45. So it is, meanwhile I just want to let you know that it is taking too much uh, efforts to make this video, so please do subscribe this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Yeah, as you can see at sharp 11 and 45, like we are getting that uh, sending task send mail function, so that the task will get performed. As you can see at 11:45, Celery Beat has performed that task. So now uh, as you can, if I refresh this, then as you can see at 11 and 45 we got the task. So now Celery Beat has sent the task at sharp 11:45 to the Celery worker, and now that worked, right? So now instead of writing task here, like we can add as many as task here, right? But instead of writing task here, now we can add tasks dynamically as well from our views. So now let's do that. You understood when we will do that. Okay, don't worry about that. So we will assign task dynamically. So we will configure some view for that. So uh, when we'll go into that particular endpoint, at that time we will have that view which will create the task, and then at the specific time we will have our mails into our uh, like our Gmail accounts. Okay, so now let's do that. So now we need to add this URLs. So now let's go into this, and now let's paste this. So we need to import this as well. So this is the thing. Now in views we need to create that. Okay, so now in our view we need to create this send mail at time function, and we need to also import these things. Okay, so now we'll import this, and here what we are doing actually, we are creating the task. So now we need to pass, suppose we want to send the mail at 11 and 50, and then it will get created when we'll trigger this endpoint, and then uh, we it this is the periodic task model in which uh, like our task will get created, and at that point like we that celery will trigger this command. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So make sure that you add the specific name, like dynamic name, to the task, because like suppose if we are only passing static name mail task underscore one, and suppose we are create trying to uh, like access this endpoint again, then the same object for this periodic task model will get created. So this is not the right thing. Okay, so try to add menu dynamic name here. Okay, so now we'll do what we'll do now, we'll just go into this endpoint, and now let's go into this endpoint, and now let's do that. So as you can see, we got success. Okay, success means it is running fine. Now uh, it, as you can see, it got changed. Now at sharp 11 and 50 we will get mails into our Gmail account. Okay, so now let's wait for 11 and 50 because we have configured 11 and 50 here, right? So meanwhile, I just wanted to show you the things that is in admin.py file. Sorry, admin.py. In our admin panel, let me log in that, and as you can see, we have this models got created, right? So we have migrated our model. We are not getting our salary app and mailfire app because we haven't configured that thing into our admin.py file, but this models got created. So now let's go, and so as you can see, we got some objects here. So this is 11 and 45 which we have created, then 11 and 50, this is getting created dynamically by us. So we need to change the time zone as well because we are using Asia Kolkata time, right? So you need to configure Asia Kolkata here. So let's go quickly and just select Asia Kolkata, and let's save this. So now we have saved. Now as you can see, at uh, sharp 11 and 50 our Celery Beat has sent the task to the celery, and now our celery worker has processed those things. So now at 11 and 50, sharp 11:50, we got this mail. Okay, so I think you understood. So what I have done here, like actually I was changed the time zone. So if you want to do that, then you need to go into settings.py file, and here uh, here you can configure this Asia Kolkata. Okay, so Asia slash Kolkata, right? Kolkata. This is the thing. So this will take Asia Kolkata time zone, and at that particular time it will send the mail. So that's why I've configured that time zone from here, because we haven't configured that earlier. So that's why I have configured. So that's what I wanted to show, that um, we we are sending the mails, and we are sending the mails dynamically. We are creating the task dynamically from our Django view, and that will get created. That will also we can show, we can see from here Django admin panel, and we can also do some more intervals. We can also do some interval scheduling task as well. So this is the thing which we can do with the Django-celery and Celery Beat. So I think that is it for this video. I hope you understood. If you did, then please do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Keep watching, keep sharing.